So a few years ago, I did a Pyware Rewrite tutorial because I saw on the Pyware forums and Pyware groups that there were a lot of people are having difficulties with doing rewrites and how to do it quickly. And I always thought I was a pretty quick at rewriting and getting things done in a very, very timely fashion. The part of the country where I live in, and I'm going to say the majority, about 60% of my clientele, is in a very football-heavy region of the state. Excuse me, a very football-heavy state in the southeast region. And administrators put a lot of pressure on band directors to put out the largest group possible. So everybody plans and hopes for the best, sends me numbers, and I end up having to change things. Usually taking people out. So this is a rewrite that's a little different than other ones. And the other one I did in my other video, it's a little more complex. And I wanted to just explain how I go through things and options I would have, because I might actually have to functionally change some drill at times in this one. So with the other one, it was drill rewriter the whole time. This time, especially at the beginning, I might actually have to rewrite a little bit of drill. And I'm just going to discuss about techniques to make that happen. I'm going to try to do this all in real time. Maybe I'll pause to drink a little bit of water or something, or if I get a phone call from the director. So you might see the time jump around, but I'm actually doing this in real time for you can see how I work in full tempo, see if you can pick up on the techniques and go from there. So the show is not a competitive designed show. It is more for halftime appeal. It is not designed to be flashy, very integrated. The drill moves themselves are not too difficult. It's not a complex show. But there is certain requests that I'm trying to keep done, certain style of show that he wants, a certain drill style that he wants. It's kind of based loosely off of an area college. And I'm trying to keep it in that thing. So if you see requests like, why did he do that? Realize it's for what I want. Not what I want, but what the director wants. Okay? So let's go through the process of what I do. So the first thing I do is I save it as. And my original one was right here, Hueytown Opener. And I'm going to save it as a rewrite. So I would actually just click it. Then I would pop in a new name. I would pop in rewrite up here and I would save. And I've already done that. Okay. Second thing I have not done yet. I'm going to print charts. But I'm only going to print the last page. And yes, this takes a second. And we'll save that as a PDF. Oh, that's not how you spell page, is it? All right. So I saved that one page. That will come handy later. You will know why. Okay. So let me explain the rewrite. We have 79 wins here. We are losing a few and gaining a few in sections. So I'm losing 2. If you look down here, ends, that'd be tenor saxes. So there's going to be 2 fewer. I'm adding 2 trumpets. And ask any drill writer what they feel about adding. Okay. Mellows. I'm taking away 1. I'm taking away 2 baritones and 2 tubas. So the way a lot of people do this, they'll try to do it section by section by section, which is an absolute nightmare. Do not do that. So I'm going to show you a different way. And this is why we resave as a different file. Okay. So what I'm going to do, first I'm going to learn to stop saying okay so much. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to circle off the brass, which I have color coordinated to be blue. And I do this during my writing process too. It's just something that helps me see quickly if I can think groups and voicings. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change all symbols to B's. And I'm just going to forget all about the labels now. And for woodwinds, I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to change them all to big gigantic W's. All right? And now they're change letters. Also, I'm going to make sure that everything is well glued and that there's not any issues, because there has been a bug as of late in Pyware, and I love Pyware, but there has been a bug where things get re-glued and they look crazy, but this looks good. I'm just going to go through the rest. Yeah, we're good. And by the way, page down key on your keyboard is your shortcut for pages up and down. All right, so everything's glued. I got my backup last page printed. Now you know why I'm going to use that last page to help me set instrumentation. Okay? Just know the order left and right. I'm not having to think about numbers because this has not been set yet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the drill rewriter and save, because it's going to be asked to do that. So you go ahead and save it. And what the good thing about this method is, we're going to ignore insert performers in this type of situation. Rarity is where I only have to add somebody. And if you're a drill writer yourself and you don't know, do I charge for adding this and that? I always charge when there's a net add. So if this was the case where I was adding a total of 9, you better believe I'm charging for it, because I'm rewriting every page of drill to some extent. Unless the whole show is open-ended, meaning it's a line that's always stays a line and just curves and uncurves, and when it separates cleanly from an end of a section. This is not that type of situation. While it's a non-competitive type show, it's more an entertainment type show, there is meshing, unmeshing, squad movements type stuff going on. So, like I said, we're losing 2 woodwinds. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to click 2 off the end. And so that's my 2 alto saxes. Let me read these notes again. Plus 2 on trumpets, 1 mellow less, 2 baritones less, and 2 tubas less. So I'm losing 3. And I like to do it from the end. Okay? So I'm going to do continue after that. Then it's going to ask me equalize, which means it will look at how it's glued together and equalize out the interval or leave a hole. Rule of thumb, lines and blocks, you're going to leave a hole. Curves, you're going to equalize. So I'm going to leave a hole. And you're going to go through each person on this. And you'll see how it's lined. It'll tell you what section. That's why you want to have these well glued. And I'm just taking my time. No need to rush. Alright, now we're in a curvilinear, so you got to look real closely. So right here, that's the set we're working on. What part of the set? So with this arc, and the way I write, that's probably a 3-step interval. I'm going to hit equalize, and I'll adjust it after the fact for they're not like at a 3.2. So I'm going to equalize. This one right here, it's this whole entire form. It's probably at a 3, so it's going to take a very small tweak, and I'm going to hit equalize there. That line, leave a hole, equalize. And you can see how it's lighting up and highlighting which area. I wish it was a different color, like a bright neon color instead of a blue where it matches the labels. And so this will be a hole I'm leaving. That big old arc right there. Leave hole, leave hole, leave hole. We're almost done. Alright, so now we're done with removing the performers. So I would have a total of 74 now. And consider I was originally at 79. I lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And adding 2, 74. That would be correct. Okay. So now I'm going to look at set to set and see if I like what's going on. Even though the math is funny right here, I really don't have a problem with that. That's set. This is where it's fun. Now, this is a situation where if it was my own band, which I'm not a band director, but if I was, I would probably rewrite the beginning. And I'm going to explain how to do that at the end, but for now I'm going to keep it. Okay? The band director in this situation will probably just want to keep it because it only looks like that for one count. And most of this, you can tell there's one oddball in the end. All right, so now we get to our first spot where there's issues in the way the set looks, which is this one right here. And by the way, let me go back here and let me fix that. So as you see, a 2.59, it was probably originally written as a 2. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get that. And my rule of thumb is I try to keep everything on a grid, at least one endpoint. And that's close enough to a 2, 2.029. Anything between 1.9 and 2.1, I will count that as a 2. And the step size is appropriate. This was the other section. That's 2.24, so this one is a little different. So what I'm going to do on this, I'm going to go down pretty close to it. Which I can't because of the guard. That sometimes works unless you get guard in negative space. All right. So in this situation, I'm going to have to just change it a little bit. So I moved it from yard line to middle. That way, if it can't be on the yard line, my next best spot is middle, and everything's good. My step size is appropriate. I'm back to around a 2. I'm going to go to the next set. All right, this one is where it's a little more complicated. Now I got to decide, do I want to go, which way do I want to go? And I'm going to reduce the step size. This is a diagonal on the grid. I think it's over 2 down 1. That's your rise over run. And I'm also going to look to see how that affected the next move. So we're good. That's just, you know, a little bit over 7 to 5. That's good right there. I could have went either way with that one. So I always like to go back and look a set and make sure a step size is not inappropriate. So for this right here, quick way to do it, just go ahead and re-enter it. So you're just going to go around set to set, make sure everything's clean, everything's appropriate. And you're going to be doing that for basically every section. Oops, that's the wrong tool. Again, that to me, that's close enough to a 2. And it gets kind of easy. You just know it's like 2 people less than what you originally would have. And I'm just gonna go around and do the wood ones real quick. Excuse me. And that one I definitely had to have them right there. Sorry for the dead silence, but I am concentrating. All right, this set, I need the arc to be close to a 2 as possible, because it needs to look like a straight line. There we go. Because the way I wrote that one was it's a two interval line, then the arc connects to it and kind of goes down. So that needed to be really close to it too, and to make sure that it doesn't start turning early. Oops, that was a mess up. Control Z is your friend when you're doing this. All right. Normally I would keep that. Another option, by the way, is to just go here and you can go 2 and you would accept it, and you would click it and drag it to where it's there. But I don't like that one. That's an option I've seen some people do. So with this, I'm just going to morph it. Oops. Here's a little trick. You see how it messes up down here? Just get it. Click it one time. Smooths it out. You're good. Yes, I wrote a lot of big arcs. There's something not right with that. So I would have never wrote a 32 count move. Let me see my production sheet real quick. That should be a hold 40. One second, I'm going to put it on pause just to pull up a drill chart. All right, that's the case where I figured out what the issue was on this one. A page tab got deleted, and that was an error on me when I originally wrote this. So that should be correct. 16 count move right there. And we are good on that. No, we're not. Let me adjust that. All right. All right, set to go. And by the way, you can also hit Control R, just like the recent group. All right, now I'm gonna go back and do the brass. Brass is going to be way more complicated than the woodwinds. That's the one I already did. Go to the next one. Did that one. I think here's when I started changing it up. I'm still good on that one. All right. I got lucky with this one. That's a block where I totally got lucky on. This one, I didn't get so lucky on. So, there is things to discuss with this one. And I'm going to look at first how it was constructed on the way in. It is simply folded in. So I want to look where it goes to afterwards too. He's going to go to these single lines of 3. And so I'm going to look at my math for this set, and I have 9. So I'm divisible by 3 going into the next set too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a block of 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, and 3 down here. So there'll be 3 rows of 3, right? And let me look at how it constructs in there. Simple. All right. I'll adjust it out in a second. Matter of fact, it's all metals. I should really just program my mouse to have shortcuts, but I don't. All right, and so that is a fair set. It gets pretty much what I wanted to come across, and that's going to be the best way to have it look. That way there's some sort of feel to that. So I got that going like this. There we go. Now this, let's see how it flows out. I think with the way this works, I should just be able to go to. And my step size is good. All I'm doing is just for the animation purposes. As you see, that works just fine. This one I probably did I do an adjusted interval? I would have had of. I'll make it a 2 though. There we go. Happy birthday, Nathan Gardner. Ironically, the previous band on my video that I did the other time, that was the band director. So the other tutorial, that's whose band I did that for. So we got that there. Please don't harass him on Facebook, please. He's no longer a band director. Let's see here. We're almost done. I can't believe I left the hole there. Normally I would want it equalized. I think with this one's 3, so it's going to be a little more. Again, I'm not going for perfection of the number. Let's see, I should have deleted the transition on that. And believe it or not, we're almost done with the rewrite. Yes, it looks ugly, but you remember the trick. I'm going to keep that one, even though it's a little bigger than a 2. I like where the endpoints are at. All right. Then we get the last set. All right, so I paused the video for just a second to pull up the previous video. So what I said was I was going to take out and then add back in. Now, the way I do my labels, it'll be the number plus the letter plus the number. Reason be it, I actually prefer writing with dots versus letters, but there's reasons why I'm writing with letters now. But some directors don't want printouts with letters, and I don't blame them at all. And Pyware gives the option to add, and so there'll be a dot with a B1, dot with a B2. If you don't know to do that, that's in your print options when you go to print charts. So now I'm writing with letters and setting this up the option to go back. And so it leaves me right here, and if I want to zoom in, where you can probably see it better. Actually, it's Alt 1, isn't it? No, that's, excuse me for a second. Zoom grid. And it's not zooming, is it? I'm probably doing something wrong. Again, I'm going off of very little sleep. There we go. All right, now I can see with my eye-strained eyes better. Let me fix that label real quick. All right, so now all you got to do now is re-enter the instrumentation. And so with this being this way, I know my numbers. But remember, I added 2 trumpets. And so all I'll do is I'm going to use this as my labeling spot. Now, the reason why you want to print out the charts beforehand, if you don't put your labels like I do, where you have T7, T8, M1, M2, M3, F4, you're going to want to know what your instrumentation was left to right of the form or front to back of the form. That way you know how it's grouped together. And that way, if you're going back in to put things in, it's in the proper voice staging. I just don't want to all of a sudden flip and put my trumpets over here and my tubas over here. That would be unbalanced for what way I originally wrote it. That's very, very important if you're doing the more complex integrated shows where you're trying to get certain elements. You're trying to bring focus to certain elements with like the guard or weapons or density of the form to a certain section at a certain time. Where this is more, there's a little bit of blocks, but there's some not blocks. So make sure you're putting the instruments back in the right order. So I'm going to pull up the email I had from earlier, and give me 1 second. And the one thing I really appreciate what this director did is he gave me the roster of the whole band and told me the changes too. So this is my flutes, and I'm going to look at the order. Minus, and we're good. Should be 12 clarinets. And I'm able to see easily because of the way I label. And you're going to say, but Shannon, why didn't you just keep them to begin with? It's because when we're about to get to the addition section of the brass, and up here where the numbers actually do start to change. Okay, L's are bass clarinets, by the way. N was a section that changed. Now there's 3 instead of 5. I don't know if this is the most exciting video known to mankind, but I figured this would be helpful to somebody wanting to see a full rewrite in progress. And it's only taken 30 minutes so far. Now, after the saxophones, we would have had altos. And we had a total of 9 altos. I know, give me 1 second, something's going on here. And I know I took them out. Flutes, clarinets, bass clarinets, 3 tenor saxes, 9 altos. Did I not take out enough? I know I took out some at the beginning. Oh, excuse me. This is why it's important to print that out. There's 15, and that only went down to 3. The other is my 2. So you got to go back and look, but just safe than sorry. So that's going to be F1 plus 15. That's going to be clarinets. I was trying to shortcut myself. And now we'll have 15 flutes, and that is correct. 12 clarinets. That's why you need to start and go add, not minus from. That way you know you put in the right amount. This is my first major rewrite of the year, so I'm rusty. And now I should have 9. Yay. And they all rejoiced. Alright, so the woodwinds are written. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the brass. I now have a new number of 14 trumpets. And I want to make sure I get that right. 12, 13, 14. And now as you see, there's 14 mellophones. I'm now down to 3. Oops, didn't change the label. Give me 1 second. It's going to be fun when I'm doing baritones, because baritones are B's. Trombone would be next. Actually, won't do that because baritones are on the end right now. Trombones, I'm down to same, which would be 5. But you kind of get a grasp how this works. Tubas are 7. And then we'll have 4 baritones. And unlucky for me, they're not numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. And 35 minutes later, I am done with a rewrite of an opener that included adding 2 members and taking away 7. So that's how you do it. Quick and easy. Do not think of it as by sections, but think of it as group, and you're good to go. And luckily, I lucked out on things. I'm going to let the band director approve this set right here. There's not really much I can do with it. And considering it's almost like a marching out set, they're not playing, it's just kind of getting out in the field. The show doesn't kick in till that set right there. So he's probably going to be willing to accept that. So that's how we do it. I'll try to get a more complex one. I don't want to say hopefully, but if I have a more complex rewrite that happens at some time, I will do that for y'all also. All right.